Hello, good evening, and welcome to Newsnight. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Let's take a look at our top stories for tonight.
And I even sent people to go and tell him that he's a small boy. I'm older than him. I have lived a meaningful life. If he attempts to destroy me, it won't be easy for him.
Commissioner of SEPS, Colonel retired Odama, takes on Special Prosecutor over La Bianca investigative report, which he describes as hollow and laced with attempts to destroy him. Meanwhile, the petitioner who exposed the rot ongoing between Customs Service and La Bianca demands removal of Jacqueline Asumahine as Council of State member and immediate prosecution of all those implicated. One person shot and killed in Tishi by unknown assailants in the wake of riots to ban noise-making ahead of the Homoa Festival. And coming up in business, we'll bring you expert analysis of what Fitch Ratings downgrade of Ghana to CCC from B- will mean, especially as it follows an earlier downgrade by S&P just last week. And later, we'll take you to Chad, where people who refuse a marriage proposal in that country must now pay a fine. Details are coming up shortly, including the latest in the ongoing Kenyan elections. Stay with us. Hello again. Now, Commissioner of SEPS, Colonel retired Odama, has taken on the Special Prosecutor over La Bianca investigative report, which he describes as hollow. Speaking to some senior customs officers at a retreat in Kumasi, Colonel Odama said the allegations filed against him and some senior officers at the Special Prosecutor are a calculated attempt to dent his reputation.
Reporting or coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, trying to indict the Deputy Commissioner of Operations and myself. And anybody who has read that report very well will know the basis of that. And luckily for me, God is always on my side. Before that report came, that person had made a statement to some people who had come to them. He was going to publish something that will discredit me, and he will do that. And I even sent people to go and tell him that he's a small boy. I'm older than him. I have lived a meaningful life. If he attempts to destroy me, it won't be easy for him. People have tried it. I have survived. And this one too, I'll survive. All that happened. One of the reasons was because of Mr. Akurubu. He wanted Mr. Akurubu to be seconded to his office. And I said no. Mr. Akurubu is a customs officer, primarily employed to do customs work. And he is to partner Mr. Akutofachin in that office, African Continental Free Trade Area. He deals with tariffs and valuation. And therefore, I cannot second him to the office of the Special Prosecutor because he has a primary role to play in customs. And then he comes back through the Commissioner General. And again, I said, I insist and will go by that he has a primary role. It is when I don't have a role for him or I can dispense with his services, I have others to do what he's going to do, that I will give him to you. So I insist. And he calls me to his office when in relation to La Bianca. And at the end of it, he talks to me about this same matter. And I said, yes, it is not the Commissioner General. I wrote it. Go and check it. And I have my reasons. He will not be released to you. He will be in customs. And then behind me, he goes to resign. He's given the position of Commissioner of Police a rank, and he's now with your office. And he goes to make allegations that Mr. Duce and myself will hit him, and they will deal with us. So that is it. That is the basis of that publication. But if you read it very well, there's nothing in it. It's hollow. It's actuated by malice. And those who are behind it, they know themselves. They know themselves. They've tried it several times. It is not working, and it won't work. I'm ready for any prosecution. That's what he must do. Not to say that they should do further investigations up to 2017. Up to 2015, I have letters written by Deputy Commissioner Demis Agavo granting similar things. And I produced them when he called me. He didn't have the letters, but I had the letters. My predecessor, Mr. Kenson, had those letters. This is common practice in customs. If you want to remove me, I have no problems. I won't be Commissioner Customs forever. I'm ready to go. But don't disgrace me. Don't hide behind people for your own failures, incompetencies, and then come and deal with me.
So the private citizen who petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor on corruption-related offences involving La Bianca Company Limited has reacted to these findings. Now, the company, owned by a member of the Council of State, Jacqueline Asumahine, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, was cited for some irregularities by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Frank Asare, on 16th November 2021, reported the La Bianca group of companies for alleged corrupt, illegal, and questionable dealings between La Bianca and the Customs Division, resulting in unlawful markdown or reduction of benchmark values of frozen food products imported by La Bianca under the guise of customs advance rulings. Now, following preliminary investigations, the OSP recovered an amount of over 1 million Ghana cedis due to a shortfall in import. According to the OSP, Ms. Asumahine used her position as a member of the Council of State and a member of the Board of Directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to get a favorable decision by the Customs Division. But the petitioner is unhappy. While commending the OSP for working and probing his petition, he noted that the funds recovered from Ms. Asumahine's company is grossly understated. Frank joins me now on phone to share with me the latest. Frank, good to have you on the show tonight. First of all, what motivated you to petition the Office of the Special Prosecutor?
Good evening, my brother. Good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners. As a citizen, I became aware of the dealings of the La Bianca group of companies and some customs officers at the Ghana port and at Tema specifically. So I, based on my own preliminary investigation, thought that there was enough to probe on. But as a private citizen, I couldn't have done it by myself, knowing also the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and having read the provisions in there, I thought it wise that I should rather petition the Office of the Special Prosecutor, who has the resources to investigate on corruption and corruption-related activities in the country.
Right. You say the amount recovered is highly understated. Do you have a rough figure of the likely amount?
I have, throughout all deliberations, decided not to mention a raw figure, but I only make the simple calculation that the Office of the Special Prosecutor made the findings. And in fact, in paragraph 4.33, it says that it is because of the influence that Ms. Eunice Jacqueline Boa Asumahine has that made the customs give her the advance ruling, which was not in accordance to even the said session that they provided. And when you look at the activities, even according to the OSP again, is from 2017 to 2021. And my brother, you and I know from the findings that 240 40-footer containers are being brought at the port every month. Then it comes to the fact that when someone tries to underdeclare or tries to evade taxes and you catch the person does not pay the same amount. At least it will come with penalties, it will come with interest. So I hold the view that yes, the Office of the Special Prosecutor did a very good job by first acknowledging receipt of my petition, starting the preliminary investigation, then going further to investigate. And after reading the 12-page document, I must say that they did a very good job in everything, giving her fair hearing, listening to the other parties just to arrive at the conclusion. But I believe that the amount that she was made to pay, no wonder she paid it quickly, was understated.
Right. The SEP's boss has spoken. He's described the report as hollow and an attempt to dent his image. How do you respond to that?
I don't have much to say about that, except to say that the petition was not targeted at any individual. Let me say that I don't know the persons involved, and I personally doff my hat for the CEO of the LaBianca Group of Companies for at least establishing a company and citizens of this country getting work to do. Also, the report was clear about the markdown and the rulings that were given, not following due process. And if the deputy commissioner who gave the markdown, you could realize that even the letter that he received from the LaBianca Group of Company was for a markdown, and they cite at section 12, which is about advance ruling. So all these are stipulated in the Customs Act. So if the Office of the Special Prosecutor, who has been mandated by this country to investigate into corruption and corruption-related offenses, has come out with a report, who am I to say that he did not do a thorough job? He did not, he was going after an individual. I don't think he went after an individual, especially me as a petitioner. When I was petitioning, I didn't have the said boss in mind. In fact, his name was not even in the 22-paragraph petition that I submitted to the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Right. Now, having recovered some money from LaBianca, are you satisfied? What more do you want done?
Oh, I think that the report impacts her, and as I was thinking that by now she would have even resigned from the position as member of the Council of State. And you look at Article 89, Clause 6, it also about the only means where someone's appointment as a Council of State member could be terminated is on stated misbehavior. I hold the view that the findings in the report indicate that the person in question, who is the beneficial owner of the LaBianca Group of Company, can be placed under the phrase stated misbehavior, and as such, she shouldn't be advising our president.
Right. Frank, are you scared for your life looking at how events are unfolding at the moment?
You see, I did it in a clean heart. I've not, in fact, I don't know. Like initially when I sent the petition, it was a day before the reading of the 2022 budget. There were calls, definitely when you want to uncover certain rots in society, there will be bad people who will be chasing after your life. But when you have a clean heart and you have not done anything out of malice, you work with a clean conscience, and that is what I work with. Yes, I know there will be people out there who will not be happy with what I've done because it has led today, paying 1 million Ghana cedis to the state. There are others who have been indicted in the report. So yeah, but I didn't do it with any intent to malign anyone, but only for the nation to rake in, because we have always been saying that we don't have the resources. So if there is any activity that you think is making the nation lose money, and you bring it to the attention of duty bearers to investigate, I think it is in order.
Right. Frank Asare, thank you very much for speaking to us this evening. Now, we're trying to get an anti-graft campaigner to also speak on this particular matter. But in the meantime, you can join us on our social media platforms. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, also live on Twitter at Metro TV GH. We're also streaming live on DSTV channel 277. Share your thoughts. What do you think about what is currently unfolding? We'll be soon joined by an anti-graft campaigner in the person of Vitus Azim to also share with us what he thinks about how events are unfolding at the moment. You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television with me, Kenneth Jesse. I understand we have Mr. Vitus Azim on the line. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the program. What are your initial reaction to the defense put out by the Commissioner of SEPS?
I think that the Commissioner was hurt, and he became emotional, and instead of addressing the issues, he personalized it too much. As a technical person, he should have taken his time to explain to us what the law says, what he did, and that he didn't do anything that contravened the laws.
Right.
As for the special prosecutor being a small boy and that kind of thing, I think as a public officer or public servant, he has a responsibility to be accountable to Ghanaians. And the special prosecutor, no matter his age, is also a public servant like him. And so that has nothing to do with the whole issue.
Right.
So I think that the commissioner did not approach this thing properly.
Was his press conference necessary, and what does it mean in Ghana's fight against corruption?
Well, you see, when you come and say, if you want to pull me down, you cannot pull me down, speaking with authority, it gives the impression that you have the backing of some people high-ups. And that definitely has an effect on the fight, a negative effect on the fight against corruption.
Right.
So definitely it's not a good approach. And it's not helping us in the fight against corruption.
Right. When I spoke to you the last time, you insisted that the woman at the center of these accusations, Asuma Hine, should resign. Up till now, she still hasn't resigned. Are you disappointed?
Well, she hasn't resigned. And I have discussed with some people. They say that she did nothing wrong because she took advantage of the weakness in the tax law for the concession that she got. So if anything at all, we should hold the Customs Commissioner for what she got, because the Customs Commissioner knows the law. He knows that the Commissioner has the power. If he finds it that somebody is taking advantage of the law to avoid paying appropriate tax, he can recharacterize the transaction and get the money paid back. So that money shouldn't have been waiting for the special prosecutor to get it paid back. The commissioner should have referred the matter to the Commissioner General to recharacterize the transaction if he felt that it was improper, it was taking advantage of the weak tax law to her advantage.
Right. Mr.
So that's how I look at it, and probably that's why she hasn't resigned. She thinks that she has done nothing wrong, and actually, if you go to court, you are not likely to be able to win with regards to the CEO. But then that does not exonerate the commissioner and other customs officers from what they did if the special prosecutor has evidence that they did something wrong.
Right. Thank you very much for speaking to us tonight, Vitas Azim. He's an anti-graft campaigner.
You're welcome.
We'll stay a bit more on this issue because the Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Colonel retired Kojo Damwa, has rejected the recent Barometer report indicating that Customs Service personnel are corrupt.
The Barometer report. Then they cite GRA, Customs, DTRD, and you look at the sample size, the basis of the conclusion. And I've had personal experiences, and I'm always saddened by the fact that people easily jump to conclusions and say customs are corrupt. Quite recently, in my office, Mr. Yankee was there. Somebody comes to make a serious allegation against a customs officer, having taken bribes, that the customs officer demanded that if an amount had not been paid, the goods were not going to be cleared. So I said, who was your clearing agent? He gives the number, and we call the gentleman. I have been engaging with clearing agents during my secondary school days. I have a lot of people who are outside and they bring goods. And I know how they prepare their statement, but I will always insist, I want a statement from the clearing agent. So you bring it, he will put the duties of, I'll check the documents one by one. But always you find miscellaneous, they'll put it there. And when you ask them, we pay to customs, we pay to this, we pay to that, we pay that. That's what they will say because we are not there. In this particular instance, I called the clearing agent, the accuser was there, and I said, you say you have paid this amount to a customs officer. He said, yes. Who did you pay to? He said, my agents will know. So we called the agent. Agent, this man is here, it's on speaker. He says you collected this amount and you said you were paying it to customs. I am Commissioner Customs, I'm here with Susan. Then the man says, no, that wasn't what I said. I said, no. He says he's here. Did you give him any statement? He said no. He only said that this, that. So what did you do? So normally you have to give people some tips here and there. That is. So did you pay money to any customer? Who was the one? Mr. Yankee is here. The man now says he didn't pay anything to any customer.
Let's take you to the presidency because President Akufo-Addo has supported the Legal Aid and Legal Reform Fund with 2.2 million Ghana cedis. Speaking at the launch of the funds here in Accra, he said his government will address essential needs of the justice system to make it modern and robust.
The Legal Aid and Law Reform Commission are responsible for provision of legal services to persons who cannot afford services of a lawyer and undertake reforms to ensure Ghana's law are abreast of time. The institution have over the years faced several challenges, mainly due to lack of funds. Board Chairman of the Legal Aid Commission, Justice Nene Amegache, says the lack of support to the department is severely affecting its operations.
Permit me, however, to say that in 2016, the total release from the Ministry of Finance to the Legal Aid Scheme for its access to justice operations was 7,000 Ghana cedis. As of today, 10th August 2022, only 20,000 Ghana cedis has been released to the Commission. This amount, however, is yet to reflect in the Commission's account. The message is clear. Government alone cannot fund access to justice activities. This is not peculiar to Ghana. Legal aid budget has been cut in many developing and even developed countries.
The Attorney General, who doubles as the Minister of Justice, Godfred Odama, says he is determined to reverse this trend. The launch of the Legal Aid and Law Reform, he says, will help the institution carry out their mandate effectively.
The temporary premises from which the Legal Aid Commission has been operating, which incidentally was found for it in 2001 by dint of your industry, when you were serving as the Attorney General, is now in a state of complete dilapidation. Further to this, it is woefully too small to accommodate the various offices and divisions of the Commission required by law to be set up. Meetings with clients of the Commission are held under tents erected outside and on the corridors of the office. I give my pledge to the Board Chairman, Justice of the Supreme Court, Mr. Nene Amegache, that after the completion of the Law House, the new office premises for the Office of the Attorney General, the construction of which was again quite remarkably started in the tenure of the President when he served as Attorney General in 2002, and which stalled for many years, but which by the grace of God is set to be completed by the first quarter of next year. I promise that I will ensure that the land is acquired for the construction of a permanent office for the Legal Aid Commission.
President Akufo-Addo says government will continue to mobilize funds to support the institution.
A proper functioning of the law is a vital tool for development of any country. One of the key priorities for government is to build a modern legal and justice system in Ghana. Even though the challenges we face are many, the promotion of the rule of law is of the utmost importance and cannot take a back seat no matter the current circumstances.
The President, through the Finance Ministry, also supported the fund with 2.2 million Ghana cedis.
Let us together mobilize to build and assist him in the discharge of this vital task. And to that end, I am personally contributing 100,000 cedis to each of the funds. And I'm aware the government, through the Ministry of Finance, is contributing an initial modest seed fund of 1 million cedis to each of the funds. Hopefully, the minister will do even more.
Meanwhile, a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Jones Doche, is charging the Ghana Bar Association to make it mandatory for the lawyers to offer at least 2 pro bono services before having their yearly licenses renewed.
it is a fact that legal lawyers are expensive. To access good quality lawyer, you need to pay some fees beyond the reach of the ordinary people. And therefore, the setting up of this fund must be embraced by all. But I will go further and urge the Ghana Bar Association to endeavor to inculcate into their members the need for them to do at least 1 or 2 pro bono services a year to enable them renew their operating license, as happens in America. The American Bar Association, you need to satisfy the American Bar Association or the National Bar Association that you have done 2 or 3 pro bono cases to renew your operating license. This, I believe, will aid the work of the commission so that not many lawyers will be paid out of the fund, but then the legal aid commission work will also be facilitated expeditiously.
Still to come in this bulletin, commercial drivers have lamented over limited information provided on the new mandatory towing system introduced by the GPRTU. That's what's coming up after the break. Hello again. Now, drivers working under the GPRTU say they are yet to be engaged on a soon-to-be-introduced mandatory vehicle towing system set to fully commence in October. The contractual agreement between the GPRTU and the Road Safety Management Service Limited will require vehicle owners to pay annual subscription fees for prompt action on vehicles that break down on the roads. Effective October this year, all drivers under the Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU) will be required to subscribe to a mandatory vehicle towing system for the prompt removal of their disabled vehicles from the road. The new towing system, which is being rolled out by the GPRTU in partnership with the Road Safety Management Service Limited, a private entity, allows drivers to subscribe to an online application that has been developed to effectively deliver the service. But even before the policy begins, drivers are complaining of not being properly engaged on the soon-to-be-implemented policy.
It's good with towing the vehicles out from our way, because when we break down like this, sometimes it causes accidents, and even when you break down, you are not safe. People can just come around, remove your things from the car, go away with it. I don't know about the towing system, but I know about GPRT is going digital.
The fact of this matter is that it's not that we don't like it or we like it. It's the way they perform. When they take our money, the way they perform. That is the essence of when they introduce it, we will be happy. But if we pay our money and then there is a broke down vehicle on the road, we call them, they don't respond, they don't come for it. That means that the whole project is useless. Industrial
Relations Officer of the GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, admits his outfit has some work to do before the program is rolled out.
The process is still in progress, and there will be a toll-free line of which you call within 30 minutes. There should be a rescue service to it. We are going to make sure we demarcate places which are friendly to some of these accident-prone areas so that they can tow the vehicle to safety of those places.
He insists drivers have so much to benefit from the digital towing system.
It's in the process of making everything possible to make sure that education have to get done well to all drivers too. And they have to have facilities to these toll-free lines, and whichever region you live in, you should be in the position to know some of these vantage points that the towing services will be parking, and of course the safety places that most of these vehicles shall be towed to.
In other stories, the MP for Ningo Pram Pram, Sam George, has asked the Electoral Commission to come clean about the assertion of lost data at its outfit. He alleges that This issue is fueling their insistence to compile a new voters' register.
Several concerns have been raised by various political actors, particularly members of the opposition National Democratic Congress, over a strong belief of plans by the Electoral Commission to use only the Ghana card to compile a new voters register. MP for Ningo Pram Sam George, in a tweet on Tuesday, accused the Electoral Commission of losing their data set from the electoral roll, hence their insistence on the compilation of a new voters register under the guise of validation. In an interview, he asked the Electoral Commission to come clean to Ghanaians.
This whole push for a new voters register that seeks to revoke the old voters register is simply a way of the EC trying to cover up its track. And the EC should just come out clear and let Ghanaians know this is what the problem is. Engage with the stakeholders, the political parties, in honesty and decency. And then we will all agree on what the modalities will be going forward.
Sam George threw a challenge to the Electoral Commission and implied that their decline to speak on his accusation could mean they have something to hide.
If the Electoral Commission says that they won't comment on it, that in itself should let you know that they have stuff to hide. I'm daring the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Chin Mensah and Bosman Asare. If they say I am lying, they should allow Parliament, not Sam George, Parliament, to conduct an independent audit of their data sets. Let Parliament get, and Parliament has both sides of the political divide, let Parliament get a technical firm to conduct an audit of their data sets.
Now, the managing director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, engineer Dr. Clifford Brymer, has disclosed that the ministry is considering engaging the national security to make illegal connection a national security threat.
Management is thinking through our board of directors that national security to even consider illegal connection as a national security threat. Because all of us use water, and the adhesives we use to connect the pipes must be certified by Food and Drugs as something that is friendly to the human. But if you do that illegally, how can we tell the kind of adhesive that you use? That is where our customers' support to us is very, very critical. When somebody does an illegal connection, the person is threatening the life of Ghanaians. And we must guard against that and report the person as quickly as possible. Because you are going to use the water to cook, you're going to bath, you're going to use it for so many things. And if something is injected in the line, it creates a lot of problems. So illegal connection must be considered as a national security threat so that people will do away with it and people will also report to us so that we will get people stop such.
Inflation for the month of July has shot up again. After the break, Winston Taki will be here with all the latest. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Newsnight Live on Metro TV. My name is Winston Taki. And now to a fourth business story. Fitch Ratings Agency has downgraded Ghana to CCC from B negative. This follows an earlier downgrade by Standard & Poor's S&P just last week.
The downgrade reflects Ghana's long-term foreign currency deterioration of Ghana's public finances, which has contributed to a prolonged lack of access to Eurobond markets, in turn leading to a significant decline in external liquidity. In the absence of new external financing sources, international reserves will fall close to 2 months of current external payments by the end of 2022. The government has requested support from the IMF, which is likely to lead to additional financing from the IMF and other multilateral lenders. The high interest burden on local currency debt also means that the inclusion of a domestic debt treatment cannot be ruled out. In July 2022, The authorities reversed the long-standing position against seeking IMF support. Fitch believes that a deal with the IMF is likely within the next 6 months. The estimate that the program could disburse as much as $3 billion and unlock budget support from other multilateral lenders. However, the timing of such a deal is uncertain and would be dependent on the government's ability to present a credible fiscal reform plan in line with increasing government revenue and improving debt affordability metrics. The most recent IMF debt sustainability analysis conducted in 2021 found Ghana at a high risk of debt distress and vulnerable to shocks from market access and high debt servicing costs.
Now, the Statistical Service has reported an inflation of 31.7% for July 2022. This means that general prices of goods and services increased by 3.1% in July.
July 2022 rate of inflation stood at 31.7%, indicating an increase from 29.8%, which was recorded for the month of June 2022. We decompose this from two perspectives, from a food and non-food inflation perspective, and from a domestic and imported inflation perspective. From a food and non-food perspective, we record food inflation 32.3% and 31.3% for non-food inflation. From a domestic and imported perspective, we record domestic inflation 29.2% and imported inflation 31.3%. From a regional perspective, we identified Eastern region recording the highest rate of inflation of 38.1%, and the Upper East region recording the least inflation of 19.8% for the month of July.
Meanwhile, an economist and partner at Seaguard Global, Emmanuel Amoadakwa, has called on government to deal with the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar, which affects the rate of inflation on imported products.
Can see from the disaggregation of the figures is that imported inflation keeps on rising. Why is imported inflation rising? It's because it's largely linked to the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. Ghana cedi, we are told, has depreciated close to 30% from January as compared to the major trading currency, especially the dollar. So the big question is, how will the monetary policy authorities arrest this depreciation of the cedi so that the amount we use to import goods into the country will be minimal, which will also feed into the inflation. The second point will be on the food side. Well, the food is available, but haulage is a problem because of the increasing transport costs, which makes food haulage very expensive. So what should be government policy? Now, I've heard in the quarters from government that there are propositions for looking at how best there can be affordable haulage from food baskets into the major cities. And I think if that is done, it will be able to reduce the volume of inflation coming from the food side. We have seen in videos whereby there's abundance of yam and other crops, but bringing them to the city centers, that is the challenge. How best do we solve that problem? Because petroleum prices are going up, which is fueled by the level of depreciation and also the prices of crude oil on the international market.
That'll be all for business here on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki. Sports is next with Phil John Corte after this break. Stay tuned.
My name is Phil John Quarter, and it's time for your sports. The World Football Governing Body, FIFA, has announced that the World Cup will now start on the 20th of November, 2022.
The World Cup in Qatar will kick off a day earlier than scheduled if FIFA's ruling bureau agree to a plan to hold the opening ceremony on the host nation's first match on Sunday, November 20th, a source close to the discussions told Reuters. The original plan was for the opening ceremony to be held before Qatar's game on November 21st against Ecuador, which created the unusual situation of 2 matches being held before the ceremony. Normally, the ceremony is conducted before the kickoff of the first game of the tournament. The Group A match between Senegal and the Netherlands and the Group B match between England and Iran were scheduled to take place before the ceremony on Monday. The plan has to be voted on by the heads of FIFA's 6 regional confederations and President Gianni Infantino, but despite the late notice, is expected to win support. The switch to a November 20th opening ceremony and game would allow the Senegal-Netherlands match, scheduled for 1,300 local time, the switch to a November 20th opening ceremony.
Let's now go to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, where the Confederation of African Football, led by Dr. Patrick Mesepe, has indicated that the organization will support Gianni Infantino for re-election as FIFA president.
African football will support FIFA president Gianni Infantino in his re-election bid next year, the Confederation of African Football president Patrice Motsepe has said. CAF officially endorsed the candidacy of Infantino at its General Assembly in Tanzania on Wednesday, with Motsepe reiterating support from the Confederation itself and also on behalf of member associations to, quote and unquote, our brother based in Europe. Re-elected unopposed as president of football's world governing body in 2019, Infantino is set to stand for a 3rd term at the 73rd FIFA Congress next year. We discussed at the Executive Committee meeting that, in recognition of the huge contributions, commitment, and the track record that you've built in terms of improving African football, all 54 member nations have taken a resolution to vote for you, Gianni Infantino, for re-election, said Motsepe. He has shown so much commitment and love to football in Africa. I've been honored whilst visiting about 30 nations over the last year to hear the people who love football on the African continent, as well as the presidents of football.
So that is the biggest news that came from CAF today whilst they had the meeting in Casablanca, not Casablanca, that should be Dar es Salaam in Tanzania regarding endorsing FIFA President Gianni Infantino for re-election. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. Up next, Showbiz.
My name is Cecilia Akumia, and it's time for entertainment news. Renowned Ghanaian playwright Lateef Abubakar has launched his upcoming play, 5 Hours with Mario, which is an adaptation of a novel by Spanish writer Miguel Delibes. The launch will stand in collaboration with the Spanish Embassy here in Ghana.
Present at the launch were the Deputy Head of Missions at the Spanish Embassy, Diego Spotono, veteran Ghanaian actor Fred Amugi, and various representatives from partners of the event. Speaking at the launch, the Deputy Head of Missions at the Spanish Embassy in Ghana, Diego Spotono, expressed his excitement in partnering with renowned playwright Lateef Abubakar to hold this play as it continues to strengthen the ties between Ghana and Spain.
I think it's going to be beautiful, and that's why the Spanish Embassy is pushing so much for this, why Spain is pushing so much for this, and why this collaboration, this cooperation amongst ourselves is so important. It's the second or third of many others. I hopefully believe that we are going to be working in different cultural matters over the next months and years, and I expect that the event that will take place at the National Theatre on the 3rd and the 4th of September will be the first of many others in Ghanaian theatres.
Lateef Abubakar, speaking to Metro News, detailed how the idea came about and how he hopes to give an Afrocentric feel to the Spanish novel.
It all began as a coincidence that sparked an international relationship between the Embassy of Spain and Globe Productions. A relationship between His Excellency Ambassador Javier Gutierrez, the Spanish ambassador to Ghana, who aims at deepening the Spain-Ghana relationship beyond traditional trade to arts and culture. The novel addresses two of the artist's favorite themes, the authenticity of rural life compared to life in the city. And for me, that is actually the selling point for the play. He was comparing the authenticity of rural life with life in the city. This, what we are doing today, is the first adaptation of the novel into a Ghanaian and Afrocentric stage play.
5 Hours with Mario will be shown on September 3 and 4 later this year at the National Theatre.
We go! 5 Hours with Mario.
Now, away from that, Atlanta-based Ghanaian musician Nana Kofi is back in Ghana. After leaving at the age of 7, he's back to his homeland to learn, promote, and connect with his roots.
5 years, but I've been moving around in the U.S. a lot. So when I left Ghana, I went to New York, and then I stayed there till senior year. Then I went to Ohio. Then now I'm in Atlanta. I've been gone for too long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't been back since I left, which was I was 7 years old then. So like it's been over about 20 years since I've been back. Yeah. So. It's a reunion. It's coming back home, just enjoying it. So it's business and.
Now, going to our sister country for our next story, Nigerian music star Innocent Uja Idibia, widely known as Tubaba, has denounced his role model status, citing a number of reasons. All right, well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Esiodua Akumia. Kenneth?
Thank you very much, Esiodua, for the entertainment update. International news is next.
People who refuse a marriage proposal in Mangalme in northeastern Chad must now pay a fine known as Amchilini. The region's higher Islamic Council ruled that the figure be between $23 and $39 for women and $15 for men. The Chadian Women's Rights League has launched the hashtag Stop Amchilini to denounce the decision, saying it is illegal as it violates a national law guaranteeing freedom of consent to marriage. Foreign ministers from the G7 group of nations say Russia must immediately hand back control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to Ukraine. They accuse Moscow's forces of putting the entire region in danger. The facility and its surrounding area saw shelling last week, which Russia and Ukraine blamed on each other. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has said he declined to answer questions as part of a New York investigation into his family's business practices.
Preliminary results from Kenya's presidential election showed a tight race between the two main contenders vying to replace incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta, with citizens praying an announcement of a winner would not unleash violence as in recent years. Let's speak to Dixon Okongo, who is the president for Stretchers Youth Organization in Mombasa, Kenya. Dixon, good evening. Welcome to Newsnight here in Accra, Ghana. I understand it's a very tight race. Who is winning? Hello, Dixon?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Right, I can hear you. Who is winning the contest?
Okay, it's very early for us to determine who is winning the contest because results are coming in, and you can say we are getting results from different media stations. And you see, with the current election that we have been having, the media station had a leeway or an opportunity to streamline the data they are getting. So, if you, for example, today, if you are in Kenya, when you tune on to one media station, you will get that one leader is leading the other one, but when you go to another media station, you will get an opposite result on the same. So we can say there's that confusion that we are experiencing currently, and that is why I think we are urging each and every citizen just to calm down so that we can wait the accurate result from the IBC. Because you see the Kenyan Independent and Electoral Boundary Commission is the only mandated commission that will give us authentic result. So ideally, it will be very strange for us to say who is winning because it looks to be a very tight race between the two, that is Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto.
Right. Dixon Okongo, live from Mombasa, Kenya. Thank you very much for speaking to us tonight. That'll be it for Newsnight here on Metro Television. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Have a good night.